Good afternoon, all the faculty members and head of the departments of various departments in our college. Today, I would like to discuss about the Moodle application user interface and the way how we have to work out with Moodle application. So, as we already know about, so recently our college has been hosted with Moodle, which is a learning management system (LMS). So from where we can conduct the different types of courses, which can be feasible to conduct the courses, running the courses online, and which can be usable to the students, and they can access the courses can be accessed by the students in easier manner, and the teachers also can able to teachers can also able to access these courses to upload different types of activities and to upload different types of resources and activities which can be useful and accessible by the students at anywhere. And presently this Moodle application has been hosted locally in our college server, and once this application has been successfully running and useful for the students, then it will be shifted to the cloud, and for our throughout society level, this Moodle application can be uploaded into the cloud, which can be accessible by all society members also. So now so as Professor Venkatramaraj Garu decided to conduct one small session on the way how this Moodle application has to be used by the teachers and teachers as well as the faculty members in our college. So for this reason, today and tomorrow, so I conduct one small session on the user interface, the options in the Moodle application, and how to add the resources, various kinds of resources like PDFs, files, videos, and documents, all these things into Moodle, and the different types of activities like quizzes, assignments, examinations, like this, the activities, how to add and how to grade those type of quizzes and assignments for the students. Okay. And after putting the grades, these grades will be published to the students, on how these grades has to be published to the users, to the students, and the students can access these grades further. So this is the simple discussions that we are going to see today and tomorrow. So so directly I'm going to the Moodle interface. So can you all see my desktop?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So our Moodle application URL is here, 112.133.223.222. So this is the permanent URL for Moodle application to be accessible in the browser, in the local, which has been hosted in our local. So the URL is 112.133.223.222. So this URL is a public URL, so that can be accessible at anywhere. So we can use this URL from anywhere, ensuring that your system should be having net connection. So
Sir, sorry.
URL again, I'm repeating.
Your desktop screen is not visible, sir. Please.
Visible?
Not not visible. Your video, your face is visible, sir. Your face is
Yeah,
Just to zoom it,
I
sir.
think
video is not visible, sir.
Just to zoom, sir. Just to zoom a bit, sir. So that it is
Video is visible, sir. I mean, desktop is visible, sir.
Visible, sir.
I think,
Sir,
I think most of the faculties see my desktop, I think.
Just swap your video.
Yes, sir.
and-
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay. So URL is,
Sir, we are
again,
able to
I'm
see,
just
sir.
to zoom it, sir.
thank you, sir.
Just to zoom it, sir, so that everybody can see.
Okay. Now can you all see any bigger letter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, so URL, please mention the URL 112.133.223.222. So directly it will display the home page of the Moodle. So there it is asking for a username and password. So just I'm zoom out this page. Okay. Okay. So there here it is asking for username and password. So as recently the usernames has been created for all the faculty members and published these usernames to all the faculty, so that using those usernames, just your SVCW email without having @svcw.edu.in, you can use that username, and the password is also given mentioned there in the file. Okay, so you can, after logged into the Moodle, so then you can change your password at any time. So otherwise the default password will be running out. Okay, so I am for the sake of demonstration purpose, I am using some of the usernames, some of the faculty usernames for demonstration purpose. Okay, so that after completion of the demonstration, please, the faculty members, you have to change the passwords. Yeah, so this is the login. After logging, this is the home page for all logged users here. For all logged users, this is the left panel which is having some options, and this is the center panel, and this is the right panel which is having some options to be displayed here. Okay, so here the point is, generally in the Moodle will be having different, every user is having different roles, and the roles has to be given by the administrator. Okay, so that by default all the users is having authorized users only, so no roles have been assigned to the users. Okay, after completion of this session, so then users will be assigned the roles. As per the roles, we can able to access the different types of activities from this Moodle. Okay, so presently there are different types of roles available in the Moodle. That is a teacher role, a manager role, so and a class student role is there. Okay, so student role can access only the courses, cannot be able to edit the course contents at all. The teacher role is assigned to a specific course, and the teacher can able to edit the contents for the course who have enrolled into that particular course. Okay, so instead of getting access of all the activities in all the courses, the teacher can able to access the course which has been enrolled by the manager. So the manager role is a very key role applied in all the departments, so that some of the faculty members have been identified throughout the departments, and those faculty members has been assigned with the manager role. So by which the manager can able to assign the courses to various different faculty members, from which the faculty members can able to access that kind of courses itself. Okay, so for the sake of getting the demonstration, so here for this particular user, so as a manager role, I have assigned 3 different courses here. So object-oriented programming, data structures, and UML and design patterns. 3 courses have been assigned to this particular user from the manager role itself. Okay, so that whenever the faculty logged into the system, so then all the courses which has been enrolled will be displayed directly here under My Courses tab. Under My Courses tab. So each and every faculty may be enrolled with 2 or more different types of courses depending upon what subjects have been assigned in the department. So every semester, every faculty is assigned with different types of subjects. Okay, as per that assignment pattern, so manager in the department will assign that particular courses for that particular semester to as a faculty in the department. So those list of courses is displayed here under My Courses section. Okay, so and this is a dashboard column, and if you go to site home, So these are the total list of courses that I have been assigned as a my courses. And here bottom, if you go bottom in the site home, it displays the course categories. So these course categories have already been completed. So with respect to the first year and department wise civil engineering, EEE, mechanical, CSC, IT, like this, and under the each and every category, again subcategories in terms of semesters wise, and in each and every semester again the different kinds of subjects have been assigned. And in each and every semester also we will be having some sort of open electives subjects based on the departments, and those open elective subjects also be displayed here in the open elective section. But here we are not adding all the courses that are offered by each and all open elective subjects offered by each and every department. Okay, only those courses which have been opted by the students only be added into the open elective. Suppose here in the information technology, we go open elective information technology. So data structures concept course is taken by one particular department, so that data structures subject only be shown in the open elective instead of showing all the courses that are offered by the Department of Information Technology as an open elective. So this is the reason why we are maintaining the open elective section here. So this categories is commonly displayed to all different types of users. If you go site home, irrespective of the roles of the users in the site home, the course categories is by default displayed. But even though they are displayed, so no user can enroll into the courses. Just for the sake of how many courses available in our Moodle, so only those for the sake of giving the information, publishing the information to the users, only we are displaying the categories list here. Okay, but no student or no user enroll into the specific course unless that enrollment option given by the specific teachers here. Okay, so directly I'm going to the subject, for example, UML and DP. So once the course has been enrolled by the faculty members, then this is the course homepage, UML and Design Patterns course homepage, which is there in the 4th year first semester information technology. So it displayed like in the format of topics. In the format of topics, by default it displays only 4 topics: topic 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we can add n number of topics while the course is going on. So here by default this page is open in a non-editing mode. Okay, so if we want to edit the contents into this course, then the teacher has to enable this page as turn editing on. Unless and until you put the option turn editing on, you cannot able to edit the contents which is there, which is displayed presently in the course homepage itself. When you turn editing on option, so then all these topics have been in a editable mode. Okay, by displaying some sort of options here with edit and add activity or resources here. And these topics has to be organized. The faculty members, my suggestion, as per my suggestion, these topics can be organized as per your unit wise. So unit 1 will be having topic and unit 2 will be having topic. Like this will be having 6 different units. Our subject has been organized. So that in similar manner here also, so the topics can be organized into the unit wise. Okay, so it's not at all mandatory to use unit wise. So as per your choice, you can organize your topics, your course topics, and put those topics reflected into here in the course homepage itself. Okay, so here if we want to edit the topics here, so directly there is a pen shape symbol. If you click on this pen shape, so then it will ask for changing the topic name here. Okay, suppose I am writing here unit 1. Unit 1. Introduction to UML, like this, and press enter. So then topic name has been changed here. So the same topic will be reflected to the students when the student is entered into the course itself here. Okay, and the topic 2 also can be changed like this. And after 4 topics have been added, suppose if you want to add more number of topics, there is a button at the last topic. So there is a button add topics. So then here you can add the topics. Suppose if I am adding 2 topics at a time, so then add topics if you click on, so then it will display 2 more topics with the topic 5 and 6, then you can modify the topic names here. So like this, the course home page has to be framed like in terms of unit wise, otherwise in terms of topic wise in each and every unit you can organize, okay, as per your choice itself. Okay, and if you go left panel side, so there is a participants list. If you click on the participants list, so here it will show all the list of users who have already enrolled into this course UML and DP. So presently there are 2 different kinds of users that have been participated. So one is a teacher and another one is a student. Okay, for the sake of demonstration purpose, I'm taking one user as a student and one user as a teacher itself. Okay, and they are active mode itself. Suppose if we want to enroll the users into this course, then we can click on enroll users button. So there it is asking some parameters to get users enrolled into this course here. So select the users here. If you click on this text box, so here you have to type. So generally we'll be having 3 procedures are there to enroll the student, to enroll the users as a students into this course. So this privilege will be having to the teachers only. The teachers is having the primary role, primary responsibility to add your students, your class students into this course as a participants. Okay. So here the first procedure, individually the students can be enrolled by yourself by typing their register numbers in the first text box. Then it displays all the list of user names, starts with whatever I am typing here. Suppose if I am typing R, so then it starts with it displays the list of users, starts with RA. So here the point is, this option can be used only for enrolling a particular user only. So this is not feasible to add multiple users, because every time we have to type a register number and then click on enroll, and the second register number, click on enroll. So this is the procedure. Suppose if the class contains around 60 members or 120 members, it's very difficult to type the register numbers and individually. So if you apply, so then it is very difficult. Okay. So but suppose if any student missed to enroll, so then that particular student you can able to enroll into this course by typing the register, his or her register number, and put enroll, click on enroll option here, enroll selected users and so forth, cohort. Okay, so this is first procedure to enroll a specific student into this course. And the second procedure here is cohorts. Using cohorts option, so we can able to enroll multiple users as a student. Okay, this is a bulk enrollment of the users. So cohorts nothing but just like a groups. So so as per my suggestion, so as an administrator, so I divided the total students into different batches wise, like 2018 batch, 2017 batch, 16 batch, like this. So I divided the total students while the students are created into this system. So then I divided the total students into batch wise, 2018 batch, 17, 16, like this. So after this, these batches can be organized into again department wise here. So 2018 batch in all the departments, 2017 batch in all the departments, 2016 batch in all the departments, like this. Okay, presently I have created one batch, 2018 batch with IT. 2018 batch IT cohort, which is a group, contains all students, all IT students of 2018 batch. Suppose 2017 batch IT if I selected, so then all students, all IT students with the 2017 batch are there in cohorts. So this will not be grouping operation you want to do. So the administrator will do all these students organized into batch wise. Then you can select that batch. So all those cohorts will be reflected here in this list box. Once cohorts have been divided, students have been divided into cohorts. Okay, so presently I am selecting 2018 batch IT, and then assigned role is non-editing teacher and student. By default we have to select a student itself, and then click on enroll student users and cohorts. So then all the students inside this cohort will be enrolled into this course UML and DP. So this is the bulk enrollment option here. This is the second option, and we'll be having third option also be there. So as a teacher you have to create one Excel sheet like CSV file. There you have to type user details, student details, and the course name details. Okay, so as I have to share the format of how to prepare bulk user detail, bulk student details for enrolling into the specific course. So then as per the procedure of that Excel file, you have to fill up all the student details in which the students has to enroll, and give this file. So submit this file to the respective manager in the department. So then manager is having the permission to upload that CSV file directly into the specific course. So then all those users mentioned in that CSV file will be enrolled as a student role, will be enrolled as a student into the specific course, whatever you mentioned in the CSV file. This is the third option to enroll the students into this course. So you can choose as per the situation, as per the context. You can choose either of these procedures to enroll the students into your course itself. So this is the first part you have to do to enroll the students into the course. The first part. Once first part has been completed, enrollment option has been completed. So then you have to organize the topics here. Sir, can you all get my points?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Questions?
Yes, sir. So this is the participants option. So on this participants option, if you have any kind of queries, you can raise your doubts by unmuting yourself, sir.
Sir, how to upload CSV file?
So I will give you the format of CSV file. So then from there itself, the CSV file option to upload, it will be having the option to the manager role. So there the upload option is there. So for manager role, we'll be having another session also be there, particularly for manager role. So there I can show how to upload the CSV files.
Sir, Ravi garu.
Sir.
అది కోహోర్ట్ అన్నారు కదా, అది మనం ఒక సెక్షన్ కి మనం అది ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసుకోవచ్చా?
చేసుకోవచ్చు సార్, సెక్షన్ వైజ్ కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు. బట్ సో ఇఫ్ యూ డివైడ్ ద సెక్షన్ వైజ్ దెన్ ద కోహోర్ట్స్ మే బి లార్జర్ నా.
ఓకే ఓకే.
a number of cohorts may be there.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ అకాడమిక్ ఇయర్ లో ఒక ఫ్యాకల్టీకి మేబీ 2 సెక్షన్స్ ఆర్ 3 సెక్షన్స్ ఇచ్చారు అనుకోండి. ఏ సెక్షన్ కా సెక్షన్ ఒక స్మాల్ గ్రూప్ కింద వాళ్ళు హ్యాండిల్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఉంటదా?
ఉంటుంది సార్. So while creating the cohorts, the manager has to give the suggestion of how to create the cohorts. So then as per that procedure only I have to create the cohorts, sir. This is the departmental decisions only. So once the cohorts, the procedure of how to create the cohorts for the students, if the manager specified me, so then I can divide the students into that category.
Ravi Kumar sir.
Sir.
So a cohorts manager cheyali.
Hello.
Manager, no, administrator, sir.
Okay. ఆ తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు బై స్టూడెంట్ యాడ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్ ఇప్పుడు ఫ్యాకల్టీ లాగా వాళ్ళ అంటే విత్ రిజిస్టర్ నెంబర్ ఉన్నటువంటి ఆ డొమైన్ ఈమెయిల్ ఐడి యూజ్ చేస్తారా లేకపోతే
No,
వాళ్ళ
the register number itself.
రైట్ మీ అంటే మన స్వెక్ ఈమెయిల్ ఐడి విత్ రిజిస్టర్ నెంబర్ అంతే కదా?
Yeah, not Swek email. So for the students, Swek email is not there, na sir.
ఓకే
They have to provide their own email ID only.
Ravikumar sir,
Sir,
I have one doubt. How many managers will be there for one department?
presently 2 managers are there for each and every department, sir.
Okay.
Sir, what actually is the role of the manager here? Just data entry and assignment, or what it is?
Courses creation, madam. Courses creation, semester-wise courses creation and assignment of the faculties to the courses once faculty assignment has been completed in your department.
And like addition of the students and cohorts will also be done by the manager, not by the teacher.
Cohorts will be done by administrator only, madam.
Yeah, if cohorts is done, then why should we have to add students once again? Because once a batch, total batch will be added, no sir.
Total batches is not added to the courses. All the students, suppose if our college is having 3,000 students, na sir, madam, all these 3,000 students have been categorized into batch wise, not as per the courses. As administrator, I am not assigning the courses to those cohorts.
No sir, for example, 2019 batch is there. Let us say it comes to third year. So when I open the 2019 batch, when I add the 2019 batch, all can the manager add all the 2019 batch to the third year courses?
Only course was not third year course. We cannot able to apply enrollment option to entire courses. Course wise only. As for single courses only, enrollment option is there, madam. Suppose for third year's first semester 6 subjects are there. For each and every subject only, the manager has to give enrollment option for the students, course wise only, even they are in the semesters.
Then what is the teacher doing for enrollment? Because the manager already has added the students.
Manager add the students divide the students into cohorts, madam.
Okay.
Not as per the courses, as per the course level only. This has to be done by the teachers.
Okay, thank you.
First, as administrator level, the students have been categorized into different categories, batch-wise categories, and this batch has to be selected by the manager to enroll into a specific course.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Got the point, madam?
Got it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Ravikumar sir.
Sir.
Sir, by using this LMS, in future we are conducting classes and at the same time internal examination and it's possible external examination also. Is it useful for that?
External examinations, I mean, we can able to conduct internal assessments only, sir. External examination has to be decided by our management only. So I cannot say whether it is feasible to conduct external examinations or not. So theoretical examinations cannot be able to possible to conduct here from Moodle. Internal assessments we can able to do. So like putting the assignments and giving the grades and putting the quizzes, online quizzes, we can able to do online quizzes itself. And as per my knowledge, examinations, theoretical examinations for internal purpose only we can do using this Moodle. But the grading system has to be manually do by yourself only, concerned faculty. If the theoretical questions will be given as an examination, so then that manual grade only be there, and that too done by the faculty itself for each and every course who has enrolled.
Yes, sir. I think related to descriptive exam, can we conduct descriptive exam by using this LMS?
Definitely, sir. Descriptive examinations can be conducted. and descriptive manner, the questions can be filled up in a descriptive manner by the students itself, and the grades should be done manually by the faculty.
Okay, fine.
And
That will be
student
there-
wise.
That will be there in
Student
this
wise
section, this session or tomorrow session?
Tomorrow session only, sir.
Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir.
So how to create the quizzes and how to upload the quiz questions, assignments, and the theoretical theoretical exam. So all these things tomorrow we'll discuss.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
So here after changing the topics as per unit wise, so then so now I'm going to discuss about how to add different kinds of resources being added to each and every topic here. So as of now, the Moodle provides only these number of these kind of resources can be added to the topics as well as to the courses itself. A book, we can add book, file, folder, IMS, content package, label, page, and URL. So by using these kind of options only, you can able to put any kind of resources by using these kind of these types of resources itself. I can give the demonstration of how to add each and every kind of resource here from this session. Okay, so I'm just clicking on the resource. Upon this, we'll be having activities as now we told you. I told you now. So different kinds of assignments, databases, choices. Okay, so the lesson, quiz, okay, survey. So all these type of things considered as activities, and these activities can be discussed tomorrow. And now I'm going to discuss here with these resources how to add into the course. Okay. So once I add the topic names here, so here I can able to give how to add the different kinds of activities. So here the thing is upon the unit, topics. So we can able to add different kinds of course introductory files. Like suppose we'll be having course objectives, and we'll be having academic year calendar. Academic calendar is there, okay, and suppose if any prescribed books are there, you can give the prescribed books as a file. So all these things will be put upon this first topic here inside the section of announcements here. So there I am showing you how to add those things here. I'm selecting the syllabuses and lesson plan and academic year calendar also. So all these files I can directly post into the before the first section of this course itself. Okay. So for this, I just put these two windows side by side. Just it's a drag and drop of the files into the corresponding section. That's all only. It's very simple to apply, add the files here. So I am here selecting the academic year file, academic calendar file. I just drag this file properly and put into the place where I have to place. So this is the place where I want to drag. So just I drop that file. You can see the file has been added successfully. Okay. So here we can change the file name also. Okay. Academic calendar. Calendar like this. And then we can also add syllabus. I think these are the things which can mandatorily added to each and every course before starting the topics here. And the lesson plan, if you have the lesson plan, we can add. Suppose if you have any books, prescribed books already downloadable, prescribed books available, so then you can add these prescribed books as a first section itself. So this is the way how to add different kinds of files into the first section of the course itself. Okay, so by seeing this, so here I turn off editing this space, then everything has been cleared and all these files have been fixed. And suppose if I'm going in a user student role home page, this is a student role home page. So there it shows all registered courses. So presently this user student registered with this course, so that I'm going to this course. So all these files which I have already uploaded, so these files will be shown here with syllabus and academic calendar and the prescribed book itself. Okay. So by seeing this syllabus, the student can able to understand what the topics which are going to be discussed by the faculty. So, and suppose if the student visited this particular file, so then the student can able to click on this file. Click on this checkbox corresponding to this file. So then that indicates this file has been visited by the concerned student itself. Okay. So this is the user interface for the student, and then I'm turning on. Okay. So here into this first unit, so I'm going to add different types of resources. I'm selecting the first resource, like suppose book. So here book, nothing but it's not exactly the PDF book or any other kind of book. So inside the Moodle itself, we can organize our topics in a book fashion or book display fashion itself in terms of it is in terms of topics, table of contents, and each and every topic has been organized into the table of contents, and once the specific topic has been clicked, so then the content of the topic will be displayed and organized in the book manner only. So that so I'm going to add how to add the book related content into the course itself. Okay. So for this, so I have the content, for example, for creating the book inside the Google, inside the Moodle itself. So name of the title or name of the book for which you want to create. So here suppose HTML diagrams of HTML diagrams. Here, if you click on save and display, so then it will ask for adding chapters. Okay. So first chapter, I'm adding first chapter. The first chapter, suppose, for example, class. The content here we can add there itself inside the box provided. For example, I'm adding this content. Just go to add this content. Directly the content is added here inside the box itself, and here we can able to change the things by using the buttons provided here upon the text area. So you can add image, you can add YouTube, I mean the video, so or you can add HYP content itself. And this HYP content preparation also I will discuss tomorrow. So how to prepare interactive videos, interactive video preparation also I will discuss later, how to create HYP. Okay. So suppose it's bold, okay, on italic. So like this we can add the content here. One chapter I am adding here, and then if it save changes, in the table of content it will be automatically populated with the title class diagrams, and then you can create another topic also by pressing plus button. then the previous chapter is class diagram. After this, suppose I can add another chapter also. Just copy this and add the content and save changes. So far I created two different topics here. Okay. So then I turn off my editing. Okay. So then it is displaying in the textbook manner itself with the table of contents. So if you click on class diagrams, okay, then it displays a class diagram description how it is. Okay. And then if you click on second chapter, it displays second chapter itself here. Okay, and the same thing will be reflected back to the students also to access the book which I have added here. I'm just refreshing. Yeah, so under UML under introduction to UML topic, one UML diagram book is added. So if the student click on this UML diagrams, so then it displays the content with the table of all the content organized in a table of content itself. It shows first class diagrams. By reading this class diagram, so then if the student click on the next button, so then it will go to the next topic itself. Like this, you can add n number of topics for that particular unit. Okay, so you can add any number of topics as a table of content can be added into the table of contents and can add the matter and the contents for in this particular place only. So this is the way how to create book resource into the Moodle itself. So this is the breadcrumb, the hierarchy of links. So then by directly clicking on the particular link, so then you can directly go to that section instead of going starts from the first course name to that particular section. So this is the breadcrumb. So we can use that breadcrumb option also. And here I'm adding another activity, another resource itself. After this, suppose a file. So generally, this file might not be a PDF file again. Suppose with respect to the files, suppose if you take any programming language, you are handling any programming language or any kind of electrical related or electronic related subject, communication related subject, specific files which is having some specific extensions. Okay, so .c extension file or .py file or .html files like this. If we want to add those kind of files, then we can use this file resource itself. Apart from the documentation file or PDF files, which is having the exclusive extension files, then we can add these files. Okay. Suppose you have done one program which you want to share to your students, so then you can select this kind of file resource option here. Okay, so I'm adding, suppose I have developed one program, for example, okay, client application. So this client application program I want to share with all the enrolled users or enrolled students here. So description for this file, what the file might be contains. You can add any type of files. There is no restriction to add the files added while adding. So here we can drag and drop the files. Okay. So for the namesake, I have prepared some files here. Yeah. So I have added a client.java file, which is a Java file. So then directly go to save and return to course. So this is the client application, which is a different file added to the topic here. And the same thing is reflected back to the student login also. To refresh this page. This is okay. this is a client application. So if you click on this, so then directly that content of that file will be displayed there itself. Okay, if you can add MATLAB file, you can add C file, you can add C++ file, you can add any HTML files. Okay, any extension, the file which is having any extension can be added as a file resource itself, and which can be downloadable also by the students. This is the file resource, and then suppose if you want to add your folder, entire folder itself. Okay, suppose for some kind of applications, it will be having a mixing of files and which are there in the specific folder. You want to share that entire folder to your students. Okay, so then you can use this folder folder option, then add folder, so name. Okay. So here you can add new folder here. You can create a new folder. Create folder, and here inside this folder, just now I have created, you can add the files here. Directly I am selecting 2 files and drag over here. Then all the files will be at a time uploaded into the chart application, which is a folder itself. And click on save and return to the course. Then that entire folder will be added as a resource into this section itself. Okay, and the same thing will be reflected back to the student role page. So here this folder, chart application folder, is added. So from there all the files which have been added will be displayed here, and from this the student can download the folder at a time with a zip file. So if the student unzip that file, so then all the contents of that file have been downloaded into their system itself, and they will work out with those kind of files itself. Okay, so this is another resource, book file folder, and then we have another kind of the content preparation file that is called as IMS content package. So IMS content package is generally is a kind of e-learning resource file which is containing the total number of topics organized in a e-learning file itself. Okay, so we can able to prepare e-content file using IMS content package here. So we'll be having the website there. We can create a IMS package file here. So I can show that particular. So first of all, I have to I have to add this IMS content package. Okay, suppose. So in this IMS package, all UML diagrams have been explained. Okay, so that I choose that IMS package. It is asking for file to upload. So I just go to the specific folder where IMS is there. Yeah, this is IMS resource file. And then upload this file. I can show you how that IMS file is organized. And then click on save, return to the course. Yeah, it shows IMS symbol is like this. So then we can easily identify this is the IMS file. You click on IML diagrams. Right. So this is the e-learning type of resource here. So all the topics have been arranged here. Okay, so if you click on this content, so then the content for that particular topic is displayed.